Well, hope you had good lunch. Okay. This is bananas. So, very good food, but bananas in the UK does not grow bananas, and its bananas come from islands which don't grow bananas either. So I will show you how that happens. And this is based on real numbers. Now, the UK imports bananas from Central America, and they are put on a boat or a ship, but on paper bananas go all over the world. So they start from Costa Rica, say cost is about 13 pence, like 13 cents in the dollar, and the local cost is 1.5 pence labour, 10.5 pence other costs, and 1 penny, 1 cent is the local profit on which Costa Rican government will collect tax if it is lucky. Then the companies have set up what they call a purchasing network, purchasing whatever they need to produce bananas. And that exists in Cayman. It's a subsidiary of the same parent company. So they are adding this, and this is tax-free profit. And then there is the financial services. Somebody has to invoice somebody, somebody's got to pay the creditors, and there is another 8p for that. Every time you buy a banana, there's a sticker on it saying the name of the company. That is called branding. They charge 4p for that. Okay, so again, then the bananas have to be insured. I don't know why mine are usually rotten, but they're insured just the same. And then there are management services. So they add on another 47 pence. And supermarket buys it and adds 39 pence for its margin and claims to make only kind of just over 2 pennies in the pound profit, on which if the UK government is lucky, it will collect half a penny, assuming that this retailer itself is not playing the offshore game. This is how the transfer pricing mechanisms work. This is how profits are siphoned off. We are all bearing the cost of it as consumers. Okay? And the tax authorities find a huge problem getting to grips with this. Kenya has just 5 inspectors for the whole country. They can't afford anymore because they haven't got tax revenues. They haven't got tax revenues because they can't chase companies. Companies run rings around them. And there is no disclosure. So Deutsche Bank, again, is the case going on now, has been facilitating tax evasion for citizens in Germany, even in the US, by opening accounts for them in offshore tax havens and then saying, don't worry, it won't be declared. And problem. Okay? And this is the kind of monies looted by dictators finding their way through tax havens at some stage. And as I said, tax havens have onshore links, otherwise they can't operate. So here we are, 220 billion pounds sterling, that's about 370 billion Canadian dollars, has been actually stolen by dictators in Canada and has found its way through bank accounts in London, Zurich, Frankfurt, Geneva, New York and other places. UK banks handle $1.3 billion, 42 accounts at 23 banks. UK government won't tell us which banks, but I'm telling you Barclays handled 170 million alone. Under worldwide pressure, Switzerland and Jersey returned some of the loot, but UK hasn't returned any yet. Okay, they're still supposedly looking at it. General Pinochet. Man amassed a wealth through drugs and arms dealing and privatized many of the companies to members of his own family. So that's how they built their loot. Companies were created in Gibraltar, Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, Bahamas, Hong Kong, complete opaqueness. And these are the names of some of the companies, and Deloitte and Touche provided services. Okay. Here's one of the companies which had its accounts in the Washington DC bank called the Riggs Bank, and the US Senate investigated, and they basically found that the bank was, Washington DC bank was busy facilitating services which enabled Pinochet to carry on with his trade. They had a file on Pinochet, but Pinochet's name did not appear on it. It had all sorts of code names. And you would like this, the way they provided references for Pinochet to open accounts at other places. He was a retired professional who achieved much success in his career and accumulated wealth during his lifetime for retirement in an orderly way. He had high-paying position in public sector for many years. Whose source of his initial wealth was profit and dividends from several businesses, family-owned. Source of his income is investment income, rental income, and pension fund payments from previous posts. So, enabled him to open accounts anywhere and everywhere. Okay? Nothing was known during Pinochet's lifetime, only now. And again, to deal with the current banking crisis, Barclays is selling so-called toxic assets to companies that set up in tax havens. Do we know a lot about them? Not really. In the UK, a newspaper published some documents showing how Barclays was structuring its transactions, and Barclays got a court order not only to stop them publishing stories, but also remove the documents from their website. The judge granted an order which still stands. However, if you're really curious and you want to read them, they're on the address I gave you on the first sheet. So you can read them and have a look to see how transactions are being actually structured. OFCs are usually praised in Transparency International's corruption index. It is usually developing countries which get it in the neck. They're corrupt. Places like Switzerland, Singapore are said to be the cleanest, even though they facilitate secrecy. They provide the bank accounts. So we have a real problem with the whole Transparency International index, the way it is put together, what it is dealing with. So generally the rich countries who sponsor these offshore places are really let off the hook. For example, offshore places are implicated in insider trading, market rigging, cartels, price fixing, illicit political donation, tax avoidance, money laundering. I investigated money laundering by an accountancy firm, which is named in my paper, which you can download from that website. And there were a number of companies created offshore, and nobody wanted to know anything about it. They basically passed a handful of transactions through each, then closed them down, so that the trail kind of vanished. But of course, I spent 6 years looking at it. I was able to put something together. Okay. So again, offshore, these kind of problems don't form part of the Transparency International Index, and is really totally ignored.